Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for the Cuckoo's Fiancé, chapters 79 and 80. I guess at this point Black Cat is just doing the series in 2 chapters every 2 weeks, I guess. But anyway, when we last left our heroes, we got a really not good Sachi chapter where we found out that she was kind of given the amusement park tickets after the costume contest out of like pity from the other girls for like a 4-way tie. And so she and Nagi kind of go on a repeat of Nagi's old date with Hiro. They sort of bring up that first kiss from way back when. It was not a good time. But the next chapter started the new school term. We see Erika kind of like struggling to finish all her homework. And then back at school, we see Nagi and Hiro kind of tied on their review test. And then the next day, Ai makes an announcement on TV that she is in love with someone at M Academy who sure looks a hell of a lot like Nagi, as everyone in Nagi's class instantly realizes. And so everyone kind of goes crazy. Nagi kind of sneaks away. There's like a full-on film crew outside his school to catch a glimpse of him. But he sees a letter in his locker from Hiro to come meet him in another room, and so he goes to do that. And that's where we left off. Let's dive right on into chapter 79. First, though, we have, we're on the cover of the magazine. We got Hiro and Erika and Ai and Sachi all in various types of swimsuits. Yet another announcement of the TV anime, though that was announced several months ago at this point. Then we have another 2-page spread of all of them in, like, Playboy bunny outfits, which, okay, I guess. Anyway, 79th foul, so tell me about your summer vacation. And so we open with Nagi still at his locker, reading the letter from Hiro. To Umino-kun, I'll be waiting in the guidance office, Seigo Hiro. And he sort of looks at it and thinks, calling me out at a time like this, that must mean... And he has this image of Hiro. Good for you, having your sweet love exposed like that on TV. Actually, since when did you start seeing Ai-san? And we see... He's still, I think he's just been really scarred by the watermelon incident back in, like, 74. With the fucking blood and the knife. Because his image of Hiro is now that she's going to murder him with a knife in the guidance office. And Nagi kind of panics, that's what I would like to know! And these 2 girls kind of take note of Nagi screaming in the lockers. And kind of whisper to each other, that's the rumored Yukun. Ah, from the second year? And Nagi kind of realizes that, like, there's a bit of a target on his back now. Kind of collects himself. And if I'm not careful, it could actually happen. And then he sort of gathers up his nerve. At the very least, I need to tell Seigo-san. I need to prove to her that I'm innocent. And he sort of marches through the hall. Now, where was the guidance office again? Was it the 2nd floor? And all around him, people are kind of taking note of him. Despite the fact that he's just kind of generally a bit of a background character kind of design. Everyone now knows him because they all saw that news broadcast. Isn't that Mochizuki Ai's childhood friend? I'm so jelly. What I'd give to be him. But Nagi's just not really happy with the attention. And then Asuma comes up behind him and like grabs him. Wait, Nagi! Why didn't you tell me about this? Aren't we best friends? And Nagi just like deadpans him. I don't recall. But man, I didn't think you'd be going out with Ai-chan even though you already like Hiro-chan. Should I be calling you Master instead? And Nagi tries to stop this. That's a misunderstanding. But Asuma kind of looks at him and kind of blushes. There you go again. Come on, I get it. And Nagi looks at him, get what? And then the Icarus gang shows up. Well, how blessed we are today. The Shogun himself makes an appearance. And Nagi's just not in the mood for all of this nonsense. What? The realm has been thrown into a commotion. To be able to attend the same school as thou, we can't, that's not... Okay, I studied a good bit of Shakespeare in college, and I want to clarify, thou does not work there, it is a subject. In the object form, it should be thee. That's my linguistic nerd bit for the day. Attend the same school as thee. I'm not sure if that's an intention, if that sort of grammatical error is present in the original text, or that's sort of picked up by Black Cat. Not being experts in medieval English. Either way, if it's meant to be correct grammar, it should be the, that's my hot take. We cannot be more proud to think the next star of the internet world had such a deep relationship. And they get out, like, autographs. My lord, if you would please bestow upon us your generosity. And Nagi looks at them, buffoons. And he walks up the stairs. We still see all the people kind of noticing him and pointing him out. Good grief. I didn't sign up for this. And then he sees something, and it's Erika hiding behind a corner and trying to slinks away. She looks like she has something to say, but... And he flashes back to when Erika first joined Megrigalka. No, Megrigalka is School Live. What's the school here called again? I forgot. Either way, the fiance thing has to, and I mean has to, stay a secret here at school. And that's why she won't just talk to me. And then he realizes, crap, I need to hurry, and he heads off to Hiro. Erika gets kind of mad, though. Stupid Nagi-kun. Don't you have something to say to me? But he just kind of runs off. And Nagi finally arrives at the guidance office. Excuse me, Seigawa-san? And Hiro kind of turns back to him, with sort of finger gun. I've been waiting for you. The one and only you-kun. She is fully ready to tease him for this. And Nagi is still kind of traumatized from that Higurashi moment, and is fully thinks he's here to die. Regarding the ongoing commotion. From the beginning, I intended to turn her down. And Hiro just says, yeah, this really blew up, didn't it? Laughing. Huh? She's not mad? Nagi just completely thought he was going to die. You've suddenly become famous, haven't you? Even though Yu-kun was supposed to be anonymous, it was totally obvious. I know, right? It's like I was a criminal. Damn fake news. I mean, it's literally the real news, Nagi. So that's why I thought, why don't we study together? There aren't many people around here, and since there's a bit of a commotion in front of school right now, I imagine it must be hard for you to just head home right away. And Nagi's kind of taken aback for a sec at her generosity. Ah, sure. I see. Seigawa-san is looking out for me in her own way. And he sits down. Thanks for the save. It must be rough. The term's just started. She's just so nice. And then Hiro goes on, gives us our title line. So tell me about your summer vacation. Did you enjoy yourself? Well, let's see. Thanks to you, I had a ton of fun. So that's a bit of a weird thing, because Hiro was there for most of that summer vacation. I kind of figured the line would be a Hiro line, but I kind of thought, I don't know, be a kind of, I imagine it being a bit more dramatic, a bit more, a point in their relationship of, her acknowledging that something has changed and, a reintroduction kind of thing. I wasn't quite sure how that would all play out, but that was how I kind of saw that line. Instead, Hiro's just kind of asking him about events that she was present for. It's kind of weird. Either way, thanks to you, I had a ton of fun. We ran off and eloped, didn't we? God, that was still this summer, though. That was such a good fucking arc, though. That was very uncharacteristic of me. We even spent the night at the inn together, huh? Technically speaking, we didn't spend the night there. And to top it off, there was a festival at your shrine. The four of you all tied for first place. And given everything going on, that might not be the thing to bring up to Hiro right now. As Hiro notes, but to me that was a bit of a surprise. You see, I really loved Ai-san's Short Circuit. And Nagi comments, me too. I only learned about it from you, though I didn't really get it. And Hiro kind of looks out the window thinking, the first time I heard that song, it really resonated with me. It was as if the song itself was about me. The things I thought and felt every day, all the stuff I wasn't able to say. Ai-san captured them in song. That's tying in, because we talked last week, or the week before, I think, either Sachi or Erika bringing up that Short Circuit was almost definitely written about Ai's feelings for Nagi. And Hiro says, oh, that's exactly what I wanted to say. Also to Nagi. There's a very deliberate thing there. And the more I listened to it, the more it resonated with me. And I guess I eventually came to respect her. I thought it was incredible that there was someone like that in our generation. And just like that, I become a complete Mochizuki Ai fan. And Nagi kind of quivers. I had no idea it meant that much to you. I'll give it a proper listen sometime. Then we see Hiro at her computer. And that's how I came to wonder if she would come to our shrine for the festival. Even if the answer was no, I sent Ai-san's agency an offer over email. Right, I did find it kind of weird that this big pop star would come to, we know that Hiro's festival is kind of a big deal, but it felt like a local big deal, whereas I is this like international sensation. They're not quite the same level. But the email comes back with an appearance is possible. Therefore, under the condition that our talent will appear as a secret guest and not be publicly revealed until the day of operations, we ask that you kindly consider our terms. We sincerely apologize. There's something about that. The agency really, ends their acceptance with "we apologize." I find it kind of interesting. Either way, I'm not sure. I'm almost certain that's not going to be important anyway. But Hiro reacts, "This is going to be the greatest. Ai-san was originally a VTuber, so I thought that she'd only be singing using her avatar." And we see her avatar, "Ni hao, konnichiwa, this is Mochizuki Ai." Getting that kind of, the fact that she spent part of her life in China. She had the Chinese and the Japanese there. And Nagi reveals himself as being completely internet illiterate. The VTuber? I never thought that she'd be doing a face reveal. Hiro just blows right past that. I see. I can't believe that I never knew that my childhood friend was such a famous person. But then, that makes Hiro respond, and so that makes me the fool. And Nagi looks at her, huh? The person who set up Reiwa's hottest couple, the center of everyone's attention, is me. And that means that I'm only here as comic relief for you two. For you, the two stars. I'm just a bit player. Hiro, the more you're talking, the less believable it is that Nagi won't realize that you're into him. Like, the way you're talking as, like, the scorned other girl in a rom-com, it's hard. Like, I'm sure Nagi, as a dense harem protagonist, won't quite figure it out, but it's very hard not to figure it out. And Hiro looks at him, I know, I'm so lame. I bet the two of you are still laughing about it, about me, even now. And Nagi gets up, and like slams the table. That's not true. It's not. And so it's a long story, but if you just hear me out, I think you'll understand. First, starting from the beginning, and we focus on Hiro for a sec, and she gets up. I understand just fine. Like, her eyes are covered. It's a clear sign of, like, she's mad. This is so annoying. And she grabs his tie and pulls him in. Wait, Seigo-san? Whoa, calm down for a second. And there's our fucking money shot for this chapter. For a second, I thought she was going to, like, actually kiss him, but she kisses him on the cheek. It's not a full-on mouth-to-mouth situation there. But there's your moment for all you Team Hiro folks. And Nagi's just stunned. And Hiro just walks away. And then turns back and smiles at him. If you do me a favor, please never speak to me ever again. Which is a callback to that earlier chapter, 66 or 64? No, 63. There's I'm looking through the chapter titles. The flashback chapter in the middle of the elopement arc. But I don't know. She made her move and then, like, backed the fuck off. Admittedly, she seems to kind of think that there is something serious between Nagi and I, which would be delightful if she would let Nagi talk. But either way, Nagi's kind of stands there, absolutely, like, catatonic. Huh? What are you... And Hiro just leaves. Seigo-san? Think again once you've calmed down. Next time, Erika seems a bit off. So I'm guessing chapter 80, which we'll go into right now, is going to be kind of an Erika-flavored version of the last chapter. Both this chapter and both 79 and 80 are kind of Erika and Hiro's reactions to the reveal I dropped on Japan. And Hiro's taking it, let's say, not great, not awful, but, like, her response is, she wins, I'm out of here. Which, like, if she would just listen to Nagi, she'd know that's not really how Nagi feels. But we'll talk about that once we're done with 80, I think. We flashback, so we open with a flashback to 79, the kiss, and Nagi thinking, Seigo-san kissed me. And then again, if you do me a favor, please never speak to me ever again. Yet somehow, she cut me out of her life with a smile. 80th foul, it's about my life too. And our picture here is of Hiro at, like, a pier with with a seagull and a water bottle with a couple of cuckoos on it, the official title that I've never been a fan of. Our eyes met in this kind of like cursive font. After I and Nagi were on the news, Hiro isn't the only one with something to say. She's already told me that once before, and we flash back to, again, 63, never speak to me ever again. For some reason, she kissed me this time. I forget exactly how did their relationship mend, trying to remember if they had any interactions, the two of them, between, like, chronologically, between Never Speak to Me Ever Again and Nagi's challenge to her at the beginning of the series. I don't quite recall. I don't know. For some reason, she kissed me this time. Question 1 is, like, framed like a test. In 30 words or less, describe what the girl is feeling. And Nagi sort of thinks and can't come up with anything like an answer. Even with the keenest mind in the whole class, I still have no idea. And he closes his locker. Keenest mind in the whole class is a bit of a stretch when Hiro's in your class, but okay. Closes his locker, and he sees the camera crew is still outside. The media's still here? Don't they have something better to do? And he thinks, I suppose I can't just brute force my way through. I should just ask a teacher for help. And someone comes up, Nagi-kun, shh, and it's Erika, sort of pointing for like a diversion, I guess. Amino-san, you're still here? And Erika tells him, come here, I know a way out. And they're like climbing over the gate, over like the fence around the school. Why do you know about this path? I use it to run from people trying to meet me, of course. They, what? Which is, of course, kind of the same situation that Nagi's in. Actually, isn't it bad for you to be with me right now? And didn't we promise that we wouldn't talk to each other at school? And Erika's like just not thinking about that at all. Why? Is this really the time for that? Well, and he has an image of this tabloid headline, a shocking betrayal, the horror, two-timing man, Yu-kun, childhood friend Mochizuki Ai, fiance A-san, which is kind of a weird bit there, given that Erika's face is revealed and she's moderately famous, so like the tabloid should like know who she is. But anyway, Nagi kind of looks away. As a famous person yourself, it could be problematic, no? And Erika gets onto him. You have an overactive imagination, Nagi-kun. Huh? School aside, and she kind of laughs. Out here on the streets, nobody cares. I guess so. Overactive imagination, though? And Erika kind of like nods to herself. Exactly. By the way, and she turns back, Nagi-kun, don't you have something to say to me? That's a direct callback to our intro blurb, by the way. Nagi's kind of shocked. Huh? That stuff with Ai-chan is all a misunderstanding. And Erika just kind of stares at him. Clearly not the answer she wants. Maybe she's just frustrated that like Nagi is now more famous than her. And I guess I think it's best I leave the next part out. Probably referring to Hiro's kiss. Wait, what has she been up to this entire time? So, as your fiance, there's something I need to tell you. The truth is, and I guess he tells her everything. So you're saying that Hiro-chan kissed you? And they've come out to some park kind of chatting. Well, But despite that, she asked me to never speak to her ever again. Amino-san? And he looks at Erika, who is blushing, her heart's beating. This is not really the story she thought she was going to hear today. And she's not quite in the mood to hear that Hiro's got a leg up over her. But Nagi takes it a different way. You saw, didn't you? Huh? And yeah, we see that she was. If you do me a favor, please never speak to me ever again. And we see Erika kind of huddle up on the ground outside the door listening in. She kissed him! I didn't see nothing. And like the worst lie she could possibly do. You totally saw. And we see Erika like gets up on a swing. Nagi kind of looks away. In that case, you should have told me in the first place. Stop trying to test me like that. And Erika rebuffs, but there's no way that I could ever ask you about something like that. That's why. And Erika just kind of pouts, yeah. And Nagi looks away again, just as I thought. Things are different now, aren't they? And then Erika gets up. Actually, no matter how you think about it, the top 2 students of the class, together in a classroom all alone, making out and stuff, That's what we call shameless. Shame? It's a stretch to call what they were doing making out, Erika. Like, she kissed him on the cheek. That's not really making out. But anyway, Erika goes on, "You're a pair of hornballs!" And Nagi kind of buffers, "Well, but she's already told me not to talk to her anymore." And we see that kind of thing that, it's been going on throughout the chapter, on and off again, but it feels much more deliberate here. That thing we saw back during the elopement arc of everything besides our two leads sort of melts away. A panel that big normally has some background drawn to it, so there's always a bit of meaning when it's not there. Like, we can only see the rail and the swings and Erika and Nagi. Because right now, in this conversation, they are the only ones that matter. I just don't know what I should do. Even if, of course, a couple panels later, the sky is still behind Nagi. But Nagi sort of looks kind of glum, and Erika kind of like looks at him, and then turns away. Ugh. And Nagi reacts, "What? All right then. I guess there's no point in explaining. You just don't get it." And Erika's kind of shocked there. "What? I'm so done." And then he just starts swinging really angrily. "You can't just make us a couple like that and report on it like some affair. If you're going to kiss me, then don't tell me to stay away." Nagi's just letting out all his frustrations on this swing. My life is a total train wreck. I guess he's just tired of being a harem protagonist. Maybe it's just the sudden return of March yesterday, but this reminds me in a very light way of the big climactic scene halfway through March's first season, where Ray runs through the streets frustrated, and all the people Kyoko's accusing him of ruining, and just goes on this great big rant in the park. This is not quite the high levels of that scene, which is not meant to be damning to Cuckoo. Nothing really peaks. There's very few shows that can be better than March at its best, and that's up there with March at its best. But it's definitely in the same vein as that scene. This sort of, there's so much going on in his life, and he's just fucking tired of it. He's been living in a fucking harem manga for 6 months, and his life is radically changed. Even in 78, before I dropped that bomb on the country, his life was kind of for the better. But now, just in that one moment, everything has collapsed in on him, and he's kind of tired of it. All of a sudden. My life is a total train wreck! And he lets go of the swings and flies off of them. Wah! Wah! And he crashes. Erika just still lightly swings. Ouch! I flew a lot further than I wanted to. And then Erika just shouts, "You're just the worst!" Huh? Confusing Nagi and me. Don't go taking things into your own hands. And she's also flown up off her own swing. Huh? It's not all about your life. It's about my life too. And Nagi gets a full view of her underwear. Pan! And she just drop kicks him. After all, you're my fiance. I mean, there's a good. So I want to talk about these two chapters' money shots in contrast with each other. Because while last one was a big win for Team Hiro, this shot of Erika drop kicking her fiance is not exactly a win for Team Erika. It's kind of funny though, in a slapstick sort of way. And we see though, also Erika's anger just seems kind of misplaced here. Nagi, you're just the worst. Don't go taking things into your own hands. He hasn't done anything. He just yelled a good bit. He's just tired of this bullshit. But I don't know. She's right that it's not about your life, it's my life too. Because, we're kind of in this thing together. Especially as she realizes her feelings for Nagi more and more. But it's a bit of a bridge too far. If she just landed on him, right? She fell on him, that would be one thing. It's the directness of the kick that's just a bridge too far for me. Anyway, now that it's come to this, there's no way Daddy's going to keep quiet about it. Oh, so Ichiro's about to enter into the main drama again. I know. And Erika holds out her hand. Come on. When we get back home, we're having a family meeting with Sachi-chan. The three of us. And Erika and Nagi sort of looks down and takes her hand. Yeah. There's a lot to talk about, isn't there? That was refreshing. All right. Wasn't it? I mean, for you just drop-kicked the poor boy. And Nagi sort of looks down. Right. I guess Amino-san is pretty reliable when it comes to this sort of thing. We see Erika sort of sighing. I'm so hungry. And that's more like it. And then Nagi gets a text. And it's from I. I've written a new song, so could you come over to my place? I want you to be the first to hear it. To the family meeting or to his passionate lover. Next time, Nagi makes a choice. Don't go to I, Nagi. This chapter might have been a strike against Team Erika, but I'm still definitively Team Erika. As anyone who's been watching these videos for the past year and a half can work out by now. Anyway, let's talk about these two chapters. They're kind of different flavored versions of the same basic drama. Both Hiro and Erika kind of reacting to 78's big revelation, or big bomb that I dropped on modern Japan. And they react in very different ways. Hiro is okay, and it's kind of understandable. Hiro's been crushing on Nagi for a while, and the fact that, she feels like it's her fault that the guy she liked is now kind of in a public relationship with the star that she brought to the festival. It's kind of easy to understand why she's so hard on herself and hard on the situation, hard on everyone. She's not exactly reacting maturely, but she's 16. She's not going to be reacting maturely. And so, yeah, her reaction is understandable, even if it's not exactly nice or good. It's immature in a very believable way. I believe, reading this chapter, that Hiro is a 16-year-old girl who, the guy she liked, she accidentally helped the guy she liked get into a relationship with another girl, kind of, sort of, and she's not exactly happy about that. And all of her actions in the last quarter of the chapter all kind of make sense with that frame in mind. Kissing him and then saying, never talk to me again, is kind of a dick move there. But given what she's kind of going through, I understand her. So yeah, 79 is a great chapter. All here for it. 80, I'm less warm on. Mainly, everything except for Erika's kick, I'd be big on. There's just something about the way that's framed is not great. No reason to kick him over that. That's just sort of mean. It's the bit that kind of lost me this chapter. It's not great. I'm not really here for it. I'm here for her enforcing the fact that what happens to Nagi doesn't just impact him, it impacts her, and impacts her entire social circle at this point. But the way she delivered that message is bad. Let's just come out and say it. It's bad. I do like the reminder, though, that Soichiro is definitely going to kind of take an eye for this, given how creepily he's been invested in Nagi's relationship so far. I like, having Nagi and Erika and Sachi sit down and be like, okay, shit just kind of got real here. All that's good. It's just that kick. If we could cut that kick, 80 would be a great chapter. Maybe not quite as good as 79, but Nagi's big, rant is great. It's not really a big rant. It's less than a page long. But it's just a good little moment. But then you have Erika kicking him in the face, and it's sort of wild. I don't know. It's kind of meant to be slapsticky, and so that's better than it'd be one thing if it was non-slapstick. And it kind of, because of the way the kick is sort of framed, it kind of is on the borderline of slapstick and not slapstick. But any less slapstick, and I'd be like really concerned, right? It's just enough that doesn't completely throw me off the Erika train altogether, but it's enough that like I'm not big on it, if that makes any sense at all. Because if it's sort of moved into the realm of slapstick violence, it's a lot easier to sort of stomach than if it's she actually hits Nagi, or well, she did actually hit Nagi, but like in a non-slapstick kind of way, if that makes any sense at all. I don't know. The rest of the chapter was really good, though, so props for that. I hope Nagi does not run off to Ai, but instead just kind of leaves her there. But the fact that that's the chapter's cliffhanger makes me kind of nervous, so we'll see next week or in 2 weeks if 81 and 82 come out together. Either way, this chapter is really all about Nagi's life crumbling around him and how the women in his life kind of react to that. And for the most part, it's really good. Again, that cake is not great, but beyond that, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe. You know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!